Hosting's kind of an overrated gig anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what
Couldn't
people you're
have set the
referring
bar
to.
that high.
All that work, no pay.
no
Screw it, I'll
pay
take the
part is
fall
right.
for this one.
Yep.
Oh my god! Just pay me in
frick.
shares of FDev and I'll host. But I'd
Why are
rather.
we here? What's happening again?
Has
Will
Daxi
host-
has Daxi ever hosted?
He hosted last week.
I made a
did.
sign that said "We'll host for ARCs."
I made him do it last
Nope.
week.
Nobody
Did you
took
earn
me
any
up.
arcs for that?
I was already at the weekly cap, so bummer, huh?
Oh man,
Sarks really should.
poorly timed. But wait, we
Wanna make
record
the
on
show notes?
Thursday.
'Cause I
You're-
hadn't opened them until now.
I mean, I
We have
heard
notes?
Zach tried to send him some arcs, but then because he was banned,
No.
they didn't go
The
through.
only payment I need from Mount Deer is to get that ban lifted.
Well,
Just so you
everybody,
can
it's
earn it again.
November 14th,
Yep.
2024.
33,
10.
7, 5, 4.
And this is yet another very sad episode of the Loose Screws podcast. You bet your britches.
You
That
can't say
this
it's
is-
sad if we can't say it's great. That's up for them to decide.
Oh, wow. I had
This
never
should
thought
be
of
a
it
very
that way.
special episode of a sitcom where one of the kids thinks they have cancer, but then they don't, and they never mention it again for the rest of the show.
Well,
Yeah,
Wait,
it's like a
what?
writer's strike thing.
except we have an update, but nobody likes it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? All right, well, guess what, everybody? I'm Commander J on Tracks, and everybody talked a bunch about hosting, and then I just started talking. So that's how we do it here. I am joined tonight by also Commander Audaxius,
Hello, everyone.
and also Commander Bloomingwind,
Hello, everybody.
and also Commander Chig.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
How long have you
Oh
been-
my god, he was gonna wait me out. Good lord.
And also
He is a good host.
also Lark Shadow.
I've been running nothing but silver and gold in my T8, and I haven't been pulled over by one pirate. I'm very disappointed in the lot of you.
Oh, I wasn't going to pirate. Well,
Oh.
I mean, I should. I'm a Delane pledge, so
Yeah,
I actually should have just taken your Type 8 right down just then, but
you probably
Nevertheless,
could've.
I didn't. I decided to land and start this here podcast. So,
Yeah.
Do you say a last to something like that, or a vast when you're pledged to Delane?
hold on, let me go check in the Discord. I'm very new around here, so
Guys, how do we warn people about things in Pirate?
fellow spider lovers, how do we talk?
Not like that. Anything but that, please.
So
I think
do
you need
the-
to be a little bit more rum laden.
Yeah, you can't do the Delane gig in the newsman voice.
He can be a newsman pirate. I mean, pirates need to know what's going on too.
robbery. This is robberies, hey? More 10.
Avast, we're going to take all your gold.
the gangster thing. Yeah, all right.
Oh, boy.
What is this? This is episode 260. I don't think I'd said that yet.
No.
Give or take.
Give or take. So, start at the bottom. Lark Shadow. What's new in the world of gold and silver?
Merits. I get a lot of merits for gold and silver. I have been doing nothing but trading this week.
Oh, you're an exploiter. You're exploiting things.
I am not.
That's what
You're an
doing.
ex. I'll exploit you.
He's trading commodities. There's no exploit there.
Oh.
But I've been doing nothing but commodity trading in my T8 this week, and it's just been absolutely delightful. And I have discovered that the more profit you get from trade system to system also affects how many merits you get. So, like, for instance, I have,
Oh, geez, I could have told you that.
I mean, just, well, I haven't read anything about PowerPlay 2.0. I'm just trying to.
Drax, realize it was just like last week that he learned that you can use FMU to repair modules. So,
Oh, no, it was the module reinforcements. He didn't
Yeah.
realize you could fix
no,
the
yeah,
module
same thing.
reinforcements.
Yeah,
Which
I
are
learned that last
modules,
week,
in
too.
fairness.
Outside of that, I've been playing a lot of Warframe and just trying to keep my head above water. I found out that I am doing Thanksgiving this year for my mother-in-law and one of my wife's sisters. They're coming over for it. And I'm actually pretty excited about that because I love cooking.
Oh, awesome.
What's on the menu?
Turkey breast, stuff
Turkey
in a
breast.
whole bunch of crap that's really bad for you, and then we'll eat nothing but small bowls of cereal for like 3 days afterwards.
Now, how do you cook your turkey breast? Are you one of those roasted guys, or do you do the deep fry, or
I
sneak it?
brine it, and then I
Ooh.
do a low temp roast in the oven. And in the last little bit, I turn the temp way up to crisp the skin up, and then it's done.
Wait, if you sous vide a turkey, what does that take? Like 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
I've already started mine.
Christ. You got to
See, I
start,
prefer-
start on Independence Day.
I
It's okay,
fry
only
mine
getting
in
the breast.
whale
I have an app
oil.
for that.
Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of someone brine a turkey. I thought that was just the realm of pickles.
Oh, it's so good.
No,
Would
it's
recommend.
amazing.
Oh, no.
Mhm.
Brining
good.
Brine
roast.
anything, man.
Brining roast is the way to go. Lately, the last couple of years, we've done the slow cooker.
Nice.
There's a nice rub we use. We do the slow cooker, and then you do throw it in for like a broil at the end to crisp it up. But basically, like it solves all your trouble because like it's not like it's basically low temp roast, right? But if you start it in the morning, like you can just leave it. It doesn't really matter when you get back to it. Like it's done after a certain number of hours, and then you can go prepare the rest of the food. You don't have to worry about things getting ready at the right time because the thing that like takes the most time has just been going already. It's all set. It can just sit there like a sous vide,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what a sous vide is, so I mean,
A sous vide
my
is a cooker where you
Vacuum
submerge
seal it
the
in a
food.
bag. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
vacuum
yeah,
seal,
I
so there's no
didn't- I
air.
don't-
You sit
I don't
in
know.
water, and then the machine keeps the water temperature extremely precise.
I
So
only
you
know
can
soup. Mm.
you can
want
set
steaks
the
done
food to
perfect,
like
that's the way to do it. It feels like
Right,
cheating,
exactly.
but good God, you set it
Dude.
to 129 degrees, pull it out of the bag, slap it on a super hot either super hot skillet or throw it on a really hot grill
Nice.
for just literally
Just a second.
seconds. Yep, just like
Just for the
8
edge.
seconds on each side. Oh my God.
anything
only
in there. Eggs, poached eggs, perfect.
I only
Because
know
you could
that's
just do
egg.
them, leave them there. Yep.
Pork tenderloin.
I
I
only
will
know
have to
sous
look
vide
into this
exists.
gadget.
No,
I'm intrigued.
I'm eighth time's a charm.
Sorry,
I
guys.
only know. I only know sous vide exists because I listened to this podcast, and about 3 years ago, Chig talked about it.
Wow,
So,
bringing it back around.
I'm
So
not
that must have been
I'm not
3307.
I'm not completely uncultured.
It's literally it's cheating, especially if like you have a lot of people that you're going to be cooking like steaks for. You could sous vide a whole bunch of them because there's a wide window, because it gets it to that the water temperature is at the temperature that the meat will get to. So you just let
Yeah.
it go, and then you just pull them out and slap them on, and just it's genius.
It looks weird because the outside of the steak is pink like you want the inside to be.
Until you sear it, exactly.
Until you sear
Yep.
it. But that's that's how restaurants and stuff do it if they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Very
where
nice.
I learned about is I was at a restaurant in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I had a steak, like a super expensive, like Wagyu beef steak, just ridiculous, this ribeye, and I cut into it, and it was the same shade of pink from one side to the other, and I'm like, how the hell did they do that?
Nice.
So then I asked, and then he showed me what they did and everything, and I'm like, that is freaking genius. And then I started seeing it on cooking shows everywhere after
Right.
that. But that was the first time I ever saw it because I had never had a steak where I cut into it, and I'm like, that's not possible. How can you have it the same shade all the way through?
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
The more you know.
Indeed.
Yeah. Cool.
Indeed. Now let's talk about how hot dogs are made.
Ugh,
Nah,
let's
we're
not.
good. Were we talking about Lark Shadow's week?
Yes,
we were.
And we
I'm
got
just going to
sidetracked.
finish it off with I've been doing so much trading between these two stations that they no longer want to sell each other anything. So now I'm back on Anara.
He
job.
said it. You just satisfied them, man.
Yeah, I got all of it. They want nothing to do with each other anymore.
That's the
Very
game.
good,
That's
very
the
good.
end game, man.
You did it. You won
You-
elite.
You won elite. Well done, Lark.
The Space
All right, see
Trading
ya, big
Simulator Elite. You
Yep.
won.
Somebody had to.
That's right. Chig, what's up, man?
I don't know. I think I'm doing a turkey too. I don't do it like any of you guys do it. I use one of those like baking bags things, but then my secret is I put a bunch of butter underneath the skin, and then get the skin back on good and tight, so it's nice, super juicy inside, and then just cook the turkey.
That's some horror movie shit right there, dude. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
How is that medically possible?
I love
it's
the part where
amazing.
he's getting the skin back on super tight.
Yeah. When you pull it, you put your foot like where the stuffing goes, and you pull that skin
Yeah.
towards the back, and it gets back on good and tight. You get it pulled over. Maybe use some toothpicks to kind of, get it back together.
So you're giving it a tummy tuck.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yes. But with butter underneath it. So I mean, come on, guys. Everything's better with
It's
butter.
reverse liposuction.
Yeah.
And then you
I'm
just
real-
use the skin a little bit, cook it in that bag. And I've got one of those Bluetooth thermometers, so I know right when to take it out. And all that. So the temperature's always going to be perfect. But then I always take the bag off to get that skin good and crisp for the last like 20 minutes or so. So maybe put broiler.
under its skin.
Yes, or it gets the ooze again, or it gets the baster again.
I'm realizing that as an Archon Delane pledge, this is actually what I do to my victims.
Every day.
Yeah, that's the marked slaves, is they've been buttered under their skin.
Best place to be buttered, to tell you the truth.
I didn't know we were in the movie Jason 2000.
God in heaven. I didn't want to be, but here we are.
You guys invite me back every week. I don't know why.
Oh, yep.
Other than that, well, we're actually jumping like 2 weeks out. Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. Which,
Mhm.
for the record, it's the latest Thanksgiving can ever be in the year. And
That seems like something you
that-
would know.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's
when
very
they said it,
chick-backed.
yeah. It does hurt the Christmas shopping season a little bit because it's so late in the year. I don't know why I'm rambling on about this. I'm trying to think of anything interesting in my life going on, and nothing. The car's in the shop to be repaired, so my wife's driving a loaner. It ended up being 11,500 in damage instead of 9,500 in damage.
That's how they get you.
At
Every
the end
time
of the day, it's your deductible.
great quote. Well, yeah. Well, not really. It's what you're paying and increased
Premiums.
premiums for the rest of my freaking life. Which I'm old, so it's not all that long, really.
Yeah, I mean, how many years do you realistically have left, man?
Exactly. Not a
Like,
ton.
what is that,
so-
like 2 years?
Yeah.
Think how much your auto insurance is going to drop once you get your kids off the auto insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
I mean-
yeah, I'm probably gonna be dead before that happens. This is getting morbid. I'm talking about butter under the skin and dying a lot. In game, I've been
Somehow very on brand.
doing ground CZs. And they added all this new stuff to the game, and I'm doing all the old stuff. Remember, I was mining last
Yeah.
week. This week, I've been
Yeah.
like pew-pewing, and I find it funny. I find a random system with a war that just started, making sure that it's not a player factions. And then I just fight for one side one day, the other side the next day, just, to make sure that the war goes on as long as possible. But I find it amazing how long it takes.
You're like, hi, everybody. I'm
become-
not on your team. I'm just here for the death.
Exactly. And you're at points where you're allied with both sides as far as your rep with the faction, It's like I'm literally shooting you guys and killing a bunch of you 10 minutes ago. Now I'm killing the other guys, and I'm best friends with both of you.
You
it's
can
kinda
never
crazy.
outkill their love for you.
It's like real life. It really is. And then, yeah, that's all I got. I'm a very boring individual. So whoever's next, I think it's Blooming Wind.
It's Bloom.
It's me. Yeah. So I unlocked the Mandalay and the T8 this week finally because I finally designed ships that I feel like I'm actually going to find useful. So I built my T8s and then I realized, okay, and now I got to get these guys engineered, and I did some weird engineering, so they're going to require me to travel around and do it. And then I got completely unmotivated because the jump times for the fleet carrier were so horrible that I'm
yeah.
like,
Ugh.
I don't know if I want to do this. So I'm just
An
probably just gonna.
hour.
It's good. Yeah, so I could probably just go and hit all these places in probably a couple of nights, but it's gonna have to do one ship at a
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
which, something might come up later in the show notes that I might talk about something that they could solve some of those problems if we have to travel around to do these things. So, but yeah, it's just, so, and I made sure I had all of my engineering mats and all that kind of stuff. And I was short on some radiolic alloy, and I just was in a boom system because like all of Screwspace is booming. And I was like on my way to the material trader in Anu, and I was like, oh wait, let me see if they have at boom. I landed in a bunch of radiolic alloy. I was like, woohoo! So,
Nice.
yeah. So that was my my gaming. And then work and week and all that kind of stuff. The family's at Auburn. My son's looking at Auburn and trying to decide between engineering and architecture. And so he's just like touring both the schools there and, that sort of thing. He's already gotten into college, so we don't have to worry about that part of it. Just what which college at Auburn he wants to join. So it's kind of a thing. It kind of sucks they make the kids, pre-specialize early. I mean, I didn't have to pick my major until, at the end of my sophomore year of college. But, apparently it's like, okay, now you have to pick which school you're going to be in. And it's like they're specializing before they know what ends up. Because high school is basically a liberal arts education, where it's like you take history and social studies. So you don't know, like, I want to be an engineer, or like my nephew who majored in supply chain management and now works for Amazon. And I'm like, who decides, like, when they're like, in high school, I want to be in supply chain? Nobody wants to do that. And so, but he's killing it at Amazon. And so, anyway, so my wife and son are there for the rest of the week. And then, I had CPR training today, which was a lot of fun.
It's a big step. It's a big step to learn CPR.
We have to do that every 2 years.
There's this thing called the heart, and you can restart it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, it's just so frustrating when it's like everyone. It's like a bunch of the cardiologists are doing it with. We have like a CPR instructor, but we all have to do it every 2 years. And like, there's just like a bunch of us that are all cardiologists sitting in the room, and we're like, we know this shit. I'm like,
imagine being that person at the front of that room, right?
No. She's actually great. She's one of our nurses, and she's like up to date on all the new stuff. And it's fine because sometimes it's like, because they're guidelines and not rules. There's like a lot of situational stuff that comes up, and it's like, well, this is great for most of the time, but there's always the exceptions, and we're spending most of the time, discussing all the exceptions and not actually doing the class. And then we take the test, and everybody gets like a, between like a 98 and 100 on the test.
8,000%.
Yeah, it's like hilarious. But
she's as into it as you guys when she gets to the front and goes.
Man. So what's the sitch, Doc? Is it still compression only?
No, we're breathing. We're doing breaths. Yeah,
Okay,
we don't want you. We don't want you breathing on people because you're a bystander. But like,
bad self.
Yeah, but professionals could do the breathing, do the rescue breathing. So yeah, and some of the drug choices are different now, and, that kind of thing. But
we're supposed to give drugs when we do CPR?
So I'm supposed to give drugs when I do CPR. So so there's BLS and there's ACLS. You just walked right into that tracks. So there's BLS and there's ACLS. Yeah. So BLS is basic life support, which is basically just sort of the CPR, the compressions, and all that. And then and ACLS is the stuff you see on TV, where it's like, okay, we're like pushing the drugs and we're like getting the paddles out, we're shocking people and all that good stuff. And the fun stuff. So. Yeah, and procanamide is back. So,
well, finally,
am I
right?
Yeah, was that
right?
I never saw that movie.
Yeah, you never saw that. You're not missing anything. No, it was like there was like either a shortage or something, and so we didn't use procanamide for a long time, and now it's making a comeback. And
those are words.
Those are words.
Sorry, it's just around the time you started talking about shocking people, somebody starts fucking with a dog toy in your background.
Bloom, is Brick chewing on a dog toy in your?
No, Rocco is chewing on a dog toy.
Okay,
Rocco the golden retriever.
Can all hear it.
Yeah, sorry.
It's so funny.
It's loud and
He's actually still at work, and someone swallowed one, and they're doing CPR.
Yes, loud and clear.
Wow.
It's a professional outfit.
Oh, now you made him self-conscious. He's quiet.
Well, get him some of that drug that you said is back. It'll help.
Yeah,
Oh,
give him the thalidomide, whatever the
procainamide?
hell
Yeah,
it
you
was.
can't
Yeah.
give procainamide to a dog.
Why not?
You
I don't
idiot.
know.
You
I
can't
don't
do
know.
that.
Didn't
He
they
doesn't
cover
need
that?
it. It's not indicated.
Didn't they cover that in the CPR
No.
class?
No, what I
my
should be
wife,
giving
my
him
wife
is some.
calls me a know-it-all, and it was just proven I don't know shit.
Yeah. No, we just need to give him
I'm out of
ketamine
here.
and he'll go to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Or
god.
S-ketamine,
Oh,
as
Lord.
Kate was talking about earlier today.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. So that was my
Wow.
week.
Huh? I feel like I got butter under my skin now.
Ugh. Ugh.
What's next? It's Audaxius, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Oh,
me.
wait, he gets a turn?
He
It's
does.
me, Audaxius. What
Well,
do
I've
you,
heard
I'm
he's
gonna,
the quarterback, so
I'm gonna let you guys guess what I've been up to in game all week. It's
Nothing. You
obvious.
uninstalled.
What
Mining.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were mining.
I have been PowerPoint 2.0, gentlemen,
As am I.
every day.
You've
I
been
love it. I'm
Really?
even more in. Oh my god, yes! It's the game now.
Tell us
It's
why.
it's. Well, I mean,
nah later.
yeah. I have been working Mahon. I went core mining. I have
Wait,
not
you're
touched-
working your horn? What?
no. I have been.
What did he
working
say?
For
So I think you're cutting
Mahon.
out a little bit there.
I have been playing
Playing with his
play
PP, working
for the Alliance.
playing with the PP.
I've been working. I've been working Mahon for PP.
My horn and my pee-pee.
Jesus Christ!
They're different things, really.
All right, children. Yep. Then that's it.
It's all over now.
It's all over now. That's my week.
Oh,
You did it. You got me to shut up.
I have a cool thing update when you're done.
we should wait. We should have told you to shut up when you started doing like an Italian
Uh-huh.
accent. We don't need more accents from you.
No,
I'm just saying.
no more accents for me. No, I've been.
Oh, no,
I've been-
don't say that.
I gotta tell you, like I can't remember the last time I played Elite every day of the week, even just to dip in and do a little bit here and there. So in game, I've been at it. Real life prepping for my birthday soup and sing. We're having a soup and sing, which is where we fill the house with people and we make a big meal.
Oh God, I thought he was going to say soup.
Huh? Yeah. Oh no, we make a big pot of soup in a cast iron pot over a fire.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a concert. And we have a concert in the backyard of all my friends and family and anyone who wants to perform. Super fun, super cool. I'm super excited about it.
You're a strange fella, Ace.
Yep. I love it. And that's the life of Daxi. So, Lord 10, over to you, champ.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
And that would be Trex.
Oh yeah.
Tell us how much
Um,
PP you've been mahorning.
I have actually been mahorning quite a bit of PP. I'm not as satisfied with the. I've not been as fully satisfied by it as Daxi has. So I guess I'll save some of that spice
Yep.
for a little bit later on. But
Mm.
other than that, yeah, it's been a busy week at work. It's been one of these weeks where I just have a lot of projects that I have to keep jumping between. It's like I've been doing like 3 or 4 different projects each day, a little bit on each, and that takes I don't know. It's hard to get into anything really far, and I kind of don't dig it. Leaves me super fucking tired at the end of the day. So, but other than that, yeah, I've been playing some Elite, and mixed, and that's where I'll leave it. I just went to engineer change the engineering on a prismatic shield, and because the Mandalay is so fucking beautiful, I squeezed that shield that I needed to re-engineer into a Mandalay so that I could fly it over to the engineer.
Barely
and I
fit.
it was like, if I deploy my guns, I am going to be like 11% over and my entire ship will shut down no matter what. But
Worth it.
better that than leave it on my Python 2 and have to take like 6 jumps and Oh my God. After flying the Mandalay, the Python, which is like not a bad ship, it feels like Super Cruise is like thick soup. Speaking of soup. Anyway, so that's the deal.
I have an update on the why won't any pirates interdict me thing.
They're terrified of you?
No, they did interdict me. It was a couple of adders, and I destroyed them both.
Oh.
With the help of some random other power play ships from Grom that showed up, because that's the kind of system I'm in. And then they immediately turned their guns on me as I'm popping the heat sink and warping out.
Wow. Now
So
that
it
we've
was a
helped
whole
you,
thing,
fuck
but I
you.
got out of there.
I was going
Very
to guess, is
nice.
it because you were interdicted 30 minutes ago, but the instancing is so slow with the servers that it just now happened?
Oh God, yes. As soon as I turned on today, another Mauve adder right off the top. It's still not gone. Oh my God, guys.
Yeah.
Just, I'm so sorry that Amazon's expensive, but honestly,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing at this point.
Ramp it up.
I'll buy more arcs if they buy more servers.
Turn the
Good
server
God, man.
knob up.
Do you hear me, Zach? I'll buy more arcs if you buy more servers.
I will too, but you better show me the receipt.
Yeah, if I buy arcs and then see another Mauve adder, like, where's my recourse?
Can we refund arcs?
Exactly.
That's why you got to buy stock so you can sell it off. Really make it
1,000
I
arcs.
hard.
have my
There.
Python 2 on my way to me because I want to go hunting some either Grom people or random Delane people that I might know where they are.
Come at me, bro.
Stick with the Gromunists.
You've got a prismatic in that Mandalay. You're never going to get through it.
No,
No,
not
I
a fancy
flipped it back.
I'm gonna try like
Mandalay's
hell.
Mandalay's too heavy with a Prismo. It's not great.
Mhm.
No,
Not
what
an
I'll do is
ideal
I'll
shield for
interdict
that
him,
ship.
and then when he deploys his weapons, I'll watch a quarter of his ship just get turned inside out when the capacitor gets uninflated.
Oh, my darlings, I'm telling you, I have already switched the Prismo back off of my Mandalay. You can come at me if you want. This thing is fully assassin outloaded right now.
Hey, look at me! I'm an assassin explorer. Me.
What kind of hard points you got on it, Trax?
I have rapid fire frags.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's just
FA.
maximum DPS. Who cares how much I have to synth?
Synth schminth.
I've been I have the part of Elite that has been fun has been flying into archer controlled systems and then just jumping in when they're attacking a convoy or something, and then finding like
Erasing
three archer anacondas and taking them out.
Cleaning house.
Which is kind of hairy in the Mandalay because its shield is not thick, but you play your cards right, you use those pips and your speed the way you're supposed to. Yeah, it's fine.
Mhm.
Taking out the first one is tough, and then their firepower drops so dramatically after that it's a little easier for the second two.
Do you think plasmas and rails would be crazy on a Mandalay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Too much energy, not enough distro. I mean, try it. Sure, you'll overheat. It'll be fun.
Eat meat.
You're just gonna have like 4 pips and weapons all the time, which makes
For
you a lot
sure.
less mobile, and it sort of sucks.
But if you practice in CQC a lot, you know to just
Yeah.
move your pips all the freaking time. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, just constant pip juggling. Which I mean, even I pip juggle quite a bit, even with low energy guns in this ship because it's such a small
Distro is
distributor.
weak. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
it's
high
fun
skill ship for sure.
to do combat in. Yeah,
And to do everything else, it's pretty no.
everything
brain.
else is
Right.
it's gravy. It's
Yeah.
gravy.
Yeah, it is an amazing little ship. I hate that I keep praising it because I wish that there was something else, but it is that good.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Totally awesome. So we should do a squadron update, yes?
Yes.
Fire away.
Alrighty. No intro music. I'm sad. All right.
So
there's no-
sorry, I didn't load the tab, and I'm
No, it's
flying.
fine. We're not gonna- it's fine.
Flying along cliffs right now.
Wait.
talking.
Adaxius likes to sing. Adaxius.
Okay.
You should sing us in.
Squadron update, y'all.
That was beautiful,
That's
man.
I'm
All
like
right.
Ty
Not gonna
Burch
lie,
up
that
here.
was a pretty good Thai impression.
It was very cool. All right. So election.
bluegrass.
I got
Sorry.
a blue. I think I already told the bluegrass story. All right. So
There you go.
election in
Tell them.
Cempsigi, war is in BD plus 67 1409, FF Andromeda, and MCC 858. The one we're most concerned about is the war in BD plus 67 1409. So if you're going to fight in that one. Power Play 2.0 has set Yong Rui Screwspace ablaze. We have many systems in the 70s and 80s. We really need pilots to cool it off. Fortunately, Yong Rui pilots get merits for running missions in Yong Rui space, so merits for beating down our influence in systems would be really important. And the reason it's really important is because of our new Operation New Horizons. All right. So, in light of the upcoming colonization, we're trying to expand out of a system called Semakhmets. It's on the which is 70 light years to the edge of the bubble. It's not terribly far from there, but the problem is that Canonn and the StellaNebula Project are sitting smack dab in between where Semakhmets is and the system we ultimately want to land in. Fortunately, Canonn said that, they're not going to mess with us trying to work around them. And I have no idea who the
That's
hell
nice.
the StellaNebula people are. So hopefully we just don't run into them. But it is going to be a series of making holes, filling holes in multiple systems while we're just trying to then expand from
I love
spot.
filling holes.
Yes, I'm sure you do. So-
Wow.
No,
With
but it's
butter.
I spent like hours just mapping and charting out and like remapping and replanning this whole thing. But it'll get us to right on the edge of the bubble, and that would be a great launching point for colonization. So when people get sick of PowerPoint 2.0, I mean, it's something that we're gonna be working on as well. So, but it's
What
just
do
gonna
you
take a
mean?
long.
What
Yeah,
do you
it's gonna
mean
take a
get
long.
sick of PowerPoint 2.0?
Not you.
It's
The rest of
okay.
the
It's all
pilots.
going to be tied in together. Haven't you heard?
Uh-huh.
Haven't you seen these slide effects?
Mm.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
God.
just the other thing is that it's all completely independent space over there. There are
So let me
no.
get
Yeah.
this right. We're doing preliminary work for a feature that we don't know when it's coming or how it's going to work or anything.
You're really
Basically, yes.
you're really loosely applying we there.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
Blooming Wind is doing all kinds of work, and he
Blooming
seems to
Wind.
love this stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm excited about the colonization. What can I say? I mean, that actually is more exciting to me than this
Yeah.
whole PowerPoint 2.0 thing.
Mhm.
We're
I
and
mean,
we're gonna-
honestly, it's because I mean, it's like I kind of don't even know what to do in my space because I see Screwspace as our space, as like my space, but it's you got your Yong Rui section and you got your Ontal section, and it's like people are going to vaporize me if I go to the wrong part of my own territory. I'm like, this
No,
is
they're
crazy.
not. That's
Well,
the deep secret of power play. They're not. They're
not
not
gonna
at
vapor.
all.
yeah, but it's just like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get you.
yeah, and also it's like I was so worried that like we were going to be losing influence and other factions would be it would just be like a hot mess. And it
Mhm.
turns out that our hot mess is that my Kuro is at like 85%.
Yeah,
And
people are just
all of the
boosting.
and all the Andromedas are in the high 70s or 80s. I mean, it's like
Frick.
yeah, no, it's crazy, but it's crazy
Yeah.
the other way.
I mean, this is a perfectly reasonable time to just kick into the rest of the show because that's literally the only thing that's going on, basically. So, yay, discussion mode. But yeah, I mean, that seems to be. I had a lot of fears about that too, that because the way they described it before it came out was like all of your actions that you do now are going to be stuff that you can do for power play. Yay. And it's like, well, it's impossible for that to be true and to not have it just be like totally overlapping. And if you're paying attention to power play and not the BGS effects, then causing all kinds of havoc. But what's really happening is it's much more restricted than that. And mostly it's just boosting controlling factions like crazy. Am I right?
Mostly.
You are right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I am pretty mixed on the thing. So somebody else take it away.
Daxi, you have the ball. Hut hut.
Hike. I don't remember the last time I felt so much purpose in the game. Honestly,
What is your
Because-
purpose?
what is my purpose is that I pass butter. Sorry, that's a
Oh God.
that's a old joke. That is an old reference.
Taxi passes butter.
No, it's
Uh,
a dumb Rick and Morty joke.
I
No,
don't. We know.
I
Don't we
just
have
it is
a emote for
Yeah,
that?
we
Actually,
have a meme of that.
Yeah.
I think.
it's
Yeah.
it's what I thought it would be in that they took the Thargoid war mechanics and having each system basically update in real time. There's a way other than just getting that news report at each station that you can check the pulse of where the activity is, where conflicts are going to be, and it's just like soccer in real life. And I just got another black
Oh,
ad.
boring.
Thank you, Frontier. It's just like any sports in real life, and I usually don't give a shit about sports, but I did live in Germany, and soccer was the national religion. And the whole point of the thing is you pick a team, and it doesn't matter which one, but you're not going to have any fun unless you have a team that you're rooting for. And once you have that, everything means a lot more.
That's
So
weight. Yeah.
there's like it's when I think back fondly on all the stuff that we've done in Elite, I think back on like Operation Bronze Medal, like HIP 22460, the first battle at Wakata when there was like 20 people in an instance.
Daxy's falling.
Daxy's Folly, right? Chick and I flew halfway to the middle of nowhere to accomplish nothing.
Yeah, I love this
warm,
game.
Warm,
True
fun,
glory.
true glory, right? And I mean, just this week I picked Mahon because I've always like in headcanon like the Alliance. The huge battle for Sirius, then having to like retreat. The one fortification closest to Thol was Mulog that got hammered by the Federation. Having to decide like, hey, that's not worth pulling all our resources into. It's giving a structure and a story to the conflict in the game that the prior system it never did, and it couldn't. And that for me, like that's the real essence of the game. So when I say fun, it's not they didn't add new mechanics, but all the mechanics now have a thread woven between them that like every week I'm doing something, it's connected to the whole flow of everything. So I can dip into the big wars the Alliance is doing if I want to, or I can come back to like the Western Front right above Loose Screwspace, and I have a system that I think I'm basically boosting alone. Maybe Lark is helping me, but to get more of a hold in Loose Screwspace, and I've always got something to do in a way that has a lot wider reach than just the player minor faction. So I love it. Like I'm still even happier than I was last week because yeah, the numbers need tweaking, whatever, right? They've never had that test server outside of letting the influencers see new ships. They couldn't have gotten numbers big enough to get a bearing on this stuff. So I can take the little bit of headache that's going to be a couple weeks or months of that, and I love it. I really am excited for the glue between all the bricks that it puts in. So I'll say that every week. I really am impressed, and since Odyssey came out, I have not had a reason to log in every day of the week, and I've found time every day this week to do so. So I think it kind of speaks for itself.
You go out and rape data ports like
would core
R2D2
mine
on the Death Star,
I
or
would
what?
fucking core mine. I haven't core mined since God knows when. I didn't even know that the visuals had changed. It's not the same. I swear it was pre-Odyssey. Core mining, you can rack in merits. I made like $3,000 in a go, and I was just putzing around. I only had like 60 tons. But there's this system now that I thought it was dumb until I did it. That with if you're acquiring a system, you have to mine in your local fortified or stronghold system and then export it to the system that you want to acquire. And I realized we have a mechanic now for what can make sense to fortify or stronghold a system that has really good resource deposits, because that gives you this export hub. If you have a bunch of miners or people that like that, that's now territory you control and has a resource asset in the game that has an effect on your power play goals. It was Granditerite, something I've never core mined for, but that's what was in this system, and I was raking in the merits doing that.
And it almost doesn't matter the profit, right? Because you're mining it.
The profit matters in that it's really effective because you didn't have to buy it. So all of your profit
Yeah.
gets converted to
Okay.
merits. And then depending on the ethos of your power, if their acquisition ethos is finance, you get like a 30% boost to it. So for Mahon, it's that. You can really make some moves with core mining that otherwise was just kind of it was a fun game loop and it was kind of encapsulated on its own. But if credits were your goal, just go do AX. You're going to have fun anyway and rake in billions. But it's not about the credits. It's about
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
having
what
a
I'm meaning
resource
is like
base now.
you don't have to find the most valuable thing. You can find a system that has something to
Yeah.
mine.
And
Basically.
Granditerite, which is kind of middle of the road, I had 60 tons, and I made about almost 3,000 merits.
Frick.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yep.
I need to put my
So
mining ship back together.
it's just it gives us other than credits, what purposes those resources serve, but now there is one.
Now,
Yeah.
how do we
Well-
determine where to mine in order to affect our BGS? So kind of, or not BGS, our PowerPoint. Explain to me that one because I love to mine.
So if you want to, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're acquiring a system, you have to mine in the local fortified or stronghold system that's within range. It shows you on the strategy map. The other two are if you are undermining or if you are reinforcing, you have to mine in that system. So I think mining is much better applied if you do it in a fortified or stronghold system that has a range of systems that you then want to acquire. So you would prioritize if there's a system in loose Screwspace that Yong Rui wants, you want to be able to cement your control. Pick the system in loose Screwspace that has the best core mining spots and fortify that one, because then you've got like a 30 light year bubble that any thing that shifts or any conflict you get, if something springs up and there's a bunch of active opposition, if it's an acquiring system, you can export like crazy to that and you're going to rake in a ton of merits. I think it's I don't know if it plays out like minute for merit as rare trading, but it's a hell of a lot more fun than rare trading.
Oh yeah.
And it gives, again, it's like it's a resource base that you can control. If it's fortified or it's stronghold, you can hold on to it a lot better. And then you can have that be your hub, that you have a 30 light year bubble range that, if you need to acquire something, you've got some bang for your buck. If your system gets knocked down and another system tries to take it, and you get back into that acquisition phase, you can go core mining again and have a lot of influence and impact that someone else may not, because they don't have a fortified system in range. So it's funny how dumb I thought it was at first until I realized why. And it gives you a reason other than just having more assets of like, I control this system, it's harder for someone to take. You now have a resource base to export from. So I think it's super cool. So I'm doing that on the way western edge. HR 8474 is the local alliance base. And luckily there's one hotspot on one planet, but it's within range of Screwspace. So I get to core mine there if I want, and it's super chill. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of bang for my buck for it. So it's cool.
And that's Mahon is
Finance.
Mahon?
Yeah.
Finance is
acquisition is finance.
Is the acquisition ethos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my read of all this is that all of the powers have, like, all the actions work for all the powers, but some
Yes.
powers get bonuses
Yes.
based on their ethos. So if you
Yep.
like Archon Delane is then they have 3 ethos, right? So
Yeah.
fortifying, acquiring, and
Mhm.
undermining.
Yeah.
And Archon Delane is combat.
Oh my God. Yep.
Nice.
That's why. So it's like that's why it's going to work out for me.
30 minutes before that's why I was delaying for 30 minutes before I saw those slaves and dipped out.
So like when
Yeah.
I make kills, I tend to get a little bit more for it, but everybody
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
paid for kills, assuming it's like power kills work in any system.
Mhm.
But like bounty hunting only works if you're in systems you control, your power controls. So you can't go undermining by bounty hunting, et cetera, et cetera. So things get
Yeah.
more limited. Like I'm pledged to Archon Delane because I
You're a
am
bad
just
person.
trying to stir stuff up. Yeah, like I just because I'm not gonna. My character is not going to subscribe to any of these people, so it may as well be the Spider King if I have to pick one,
Mhm.
and kill people and stuff like that. So I wanted to help keep Screwspace undermined. Basically, I just want Screwspace to be constantly undermined. Archon is not the farthest power from our space, but he's not in it, and so basically all I can do is when I'm out far enough, I'm out beyond the acquisition systems. The only thing I can do, I can't even hack hollow screens anymore.
No.
Because I think that only goes out to acquisition systems.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is power kills.
Mhm.
And it's expensive because
Uh-huh.
okay, so here's one of my gripes. Because I think this is wrong.
Hold on. Let me get my white. I'm gonna get my white knight armor on. Okay. Okay. There you go.
So the way this interfaces with the other systems of the game, like you're talking about how core mining and like it interfaces essentially with like the commodity trading and the mining stuff. The way power play interfaces with crime and punishment is
stupid.
dumb. And I think it's indefensibly dumb. Okay, so
boy.
as it stands right now, if I am in a system that my power controls, I can shoot enemy power ships with impunity. And if they shoot me, they'll get a bounty on their head. And likewise, so this is what's happening to me. So I'm in an archer system. Even if I convince the archer ships to shoot me first, they don't get a bounty for that. And if I return fire, I get a bounty. Now, I don't see how that makes any sense. I'm totally fine with the power play perk of some percentage, ranking up until it's eventually 100% of your bounties are paid by your power. Like that's one of my benefits, right? Is that eventually, if I keep ranking up, Archon pays all my bounties or something like that. Like my bounties are reduced by 100%.
Yeah.
But like, why is it that way? So why are we doing this? Why is it that power? Because the powers are not the system controller, right? They're not the faction who is issuing the bounty. That's the system controlling faction. That's BGS. That's a different system. So why is the BGS faction that controls the system saying, okay, Archer, you don't get a bounty for committing crimes here because you're fortified in this system? Explain that to me.
I think that would boil down to the power play system is basically the overarching government of the system versus like whether or not
Federal
you walk,
versus state.
whether or
bias,
not you
think of it
walk
that
into
way.
Walmart and go shoplifting, it like the government is still in charge. And if you went to a different country and took
No,
pot
but
shots
that's
at the police,
the thing.
whether,
Like,
yeah,
they're saying Archer can walk in and go shoplifting, but
yeah.
Nikado Kane can't.
I just like I don't disagree with the bounty in the undermining system thing, because if you went and took pot shots at soldiers in some country, it doesn't matter if you have political motivations or not. You're committing a crime. Oh, and
Right.
by the way, I'm representing this other political entity. I think that's why those conflict zones exist in those systems that are contested, because that's like, oh, now we're actually at war.
And
Instead of
that's
just,
right. If you're in a conflict zone, there are no bounties involved, right? That's a different story. But if we're just like out in public, so to speak, I'm not saying that I shouldn't have to pay for my crimes that I'm committing in Archer space. But they're committing crimes if they shoot me first and I'm clean, right? If I go and clean my ship and they shoot me, so I just don't. I don't think it should apply that way. I don't think it should be that anybody gets a free pass. Now, if they want to do something where like Archer is going to pay their bounty, that's fine. So that they, as a reward for players being loyal to a power, then they get that as a reward. That's fine. but I
Yeah.
shouldn't be getting a bounty for shooting essentially a criminal ship. They opened fire on me in a system that isn't an anarchy.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? And so it's just when you're confusing those two systems, they're overlapping them just enough and just changing the rules are, you know, I was about to say arbitrarily. I know it's not arbitrary. They're changing them because that's the power that controls the system, but like it doesn't make sense and I don't think it's good.
Yeah, it didn't bug me. And
While you were core mining, you mean?
well, the thing is we get the weekly reward, right? I
What's
mean,
that?
what am
What do
I
you
at
mean?
now? So when you go to your power play
You mean your
menu-
care package?
No, so the leaderboard, you have
Oh,
whether or not you're
yeah,
on
I'm
the
not on
leaderboard
the
or not.
leaderboard, dog.
I was going to say, so if you're just by participating, well, that's the thing. If you're in the top 100%, which means you did anything, you get
okay.
500,000 credits a week. So have your bounties at any point gone up over 500,000?
Oh, I'm not losing money on the like. I've got plenty of money.
I guess what I'm saying is like even with that stated reduction, like we will pay your bounties, they kind of already are.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the money. It's actually just
Yeah.
having to go to the interstellar factor every so
Got
often
it.
and clear
Okay.
that off. That's annoying. And I think
Yeah.
if I'm being careful and making them shoot me first, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if we're rival gangs, that's what's going on. We are not the government in this faction. Archer is not the government there. Loose Screws is the government in V640,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sitting here getting bounties against me and losing rep for Loose Screws by shooting Archer ships.
Oh, okay.
Not
So
Loose
I'm
Screws
gonna-
ships, you
yeah.
know what I mean? And so this is my problem. I'm here trying to essentially keep Loose Screwspace free from Archer.
Yeah.
I'm starting what I'm doing is like gang warfare, right? I'm on
Yeah.
the streets. We're both committing crimes, but I'm getting them to commit crimes first so that they're wanted. And then,
Yeah.
you know, Loose Screws police should show up and be shooting them down or helping me finish them off or something. That's what ought to be happening if I play my cards right. Now, if I just open fire on a random transport that isn't wanted, that hasn't shot me first, I'll take the bounty and all hail the Spider King. But like,
Yeah.
you know
I'm
what I
going to
mean?
agree with you. I noticed that in V640 this week. There isn't a good way to represent a player minor faction if it's an undermine system. If you're trying to kick out the local power like Archer, because Loose Screws will interpret it as you're doing actions. Yeah. That I noticed and I did not like because I mean, I guess I don't know how many players really heavily associate with a single player minor faction, but those two systems don't overlap well.
Yeah, and I get some of your major points earlier about like so finding a team makes the whole thing have more gravitas, right? Now we have Loose Screws faction, which is not a small faction, but it's so small compared to any of these powers. So what they are, like, I get what you're saying. What they're affording the player base now is now you can have fun and sign, you know, it's a brand new system, all refreshed. Now you can come and sign up to a faction essentially, or a faction-like entity that is way bigger than anything you could do with your own player minor factions, even the biggest ones in the game.
Yeah, I think I hate to ever spitball and think that we could give Frontier ideas, but if you could have a separate crime and punishment system related exclusively to power play that you could handle like at power contacts, that might solve a lot of that headache.
Well,
something to split off the negative effect from the player minor faction, because that's the only real thing I noticed this week that I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that like I said, I don't think crimes shouldn't be crimes. It's just I don't think they should be. I think they should be crimes for everybody. They shouldn't. Archer shouldn't get away with his crimes, and because he is fortified in the system. I think that would solve it. You don't have to add another crime and punishment system because we already are essentially like every other power is enemy. There's no granularity there. Every single other power is an enemy.
If you own the cops, do you ever get in trouble from the cops?
They don't own the cops. Archer is not issuing the bounty. Archer is not issuing the bounty.
But he is calling the shots.
I don't have when I kill Archer ships in Loose Screwspace, I don't have a bounty when I go 2 systems over and a different faction is in charge, but it's still Archer.
Yeah, okay. If they had power specific bounties to still give.
No, this isn't the
consequence?
solution. No,
Yeah.
don't give them that idea. That's a very bad idea. We don't need to add more crappy crime and punishment into this game. You just need to make it so it isn't tilted for this. This is the bad part of the system. Take away that, and then everything's fine. Just separate it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That would help all the players like our group that has a player minor faction it wants to represent and have the power play system overlap it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll concede that point. But I'm
Do you
still
want to know
having
my other
fun.
gripe?
Yeah.
My other gripe is the same gripe as everybody's, though, is these weekly tasks. The first week when everybody has to do the first 5 in order to start ranking up. Those were fine, but everybody universally agreed that whatever the fuck happened on week 2 was awful. And they're not, I've heard from a lot of people, they're not all the same, but they are very similar. It seemed like there was a similar like set of random words that could get jumbled together. And a lot of us got these things about scanning so many megaships in a certain type of system.
Yeah.
And it sucked. Even when I got some help because I wasn't figuring out how to get Inara to show me the thing I needed. Eventually, with some help, I found how to do that. By the way, the filter is bulk carriers, right? So you need to do nearest, and then you need to do systems that contain, and then it needs to be bulk carriers. Those are the types of megaships but Inara doesn't, those move. So half of Inara's data was out of date, and it took me, as a completionist moment in my life, it took me like over 2 hours to get a bunch of these scanned, and I had to scan too many of them too, because inexplicably some of the ones I did scan didn't count, even though I verified they were in an acquisition system and blah blah blah. So the system either has bugs or bits of it that it's not explaining to us still. So that's very annoying. But I guess the tasks don't really matter anyway. Which is a shame. So, the random jumble of words probably needs to be changed so that it can exclude weird cases like what came up. So I'm assuming that'll be fixed. But anyway, that's my other gripe.
PowerPlay Mad Libs should not have something that
that's what it is, man.
That's something that's in a reinforcement system that is as very incidental as whether or not a megaship's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I wasn't initially having fun in power play. It was somewhat hard to learn for me. And then later on, I found out that everything I was doing didn't matter anyways, because there were exploiters fighting to get like bajillion merits. But then FDev saw the exploiters and all of those merits vanished like so many farts in a hurricane.
Yeah.
And now I'm happy.
In Ithaca, they had 1.2 million disappear.
Yep, it was so good.
Yeah.
So I guess, it's probably safe to talk about that, right? Because it's been essentially eliminated. But there was something about on foot like data downloads or something where it wasn't correctly restricting it.
Yeah. There was an exploit you could do that did not involve menu logging, get involved in SRV and a data port. And I think they had, I read it was like...
It was just like a menu bug or something.
10,000 merits in 10 minutes or something. And they had this merit farm racing through the system. And Frontier, I bet you in their whatever their data looks like, they could just tell what merits came from what activity. And they said nope.
Yeah.
And they nixed it, and the Alliance was able to retain control.
Rolled all those back.
All those wasted hours.
So has that gone over the whole thing? That must have been a lot of work to go through all those logs too.
Yeah, so there was another Alliance system that they did not roll back that was probably part of the whole thing. That's that Mulog that got hammered.
Yeah.
But they did intervene whether or not it was complete or not. I think that they have fixed that issue, and we will not be hearing from those people again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are still ways to rack up a lot of merits. It's rares. People keep talking about rares getting nerfed. It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's just the supply are getting just hammered. Well, no, I don't think so. It's just how many people are buying them. They don't have to do that because that's
tied to you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's you, and it's
there's
every
supplies at the systems. I think it's 30.
It's 10. I've been doing
It's
it
10?
literally all day. I stocked rares literally all day today, just hopping back and forth off the computer. It's 10 minutes, and the supply is tied to your one-time purchase, and then once you have stored them on your carrier, it resets.
And 10 minutes pass.
10 minutes pass. So I stocked up over 1,000, I don't know, like with thingamajigs from Whoozy Whatsy today.
Yeah.
And,
all right. What do you think of that, though? So what do you think about rares as it is? Because right now everything is uncapped, right? Any way to generate merits is uncapped.
I think that they took the lessons from the Thargoid War with cargo hauling, and they gave them a viable way to meaningfully contribute. And if you want to do the boring thing that I did today, which is just flying back and forth and stocking rares, you can move a lot of merits. In my opinion, just make two things: make combat as effective, and not just shooting the fighters at stronghold carriers, and give undermining a method that can be as effective as people hauling rares. That's the only changes I would make.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the rares is only effective if you're boosting your own power.
Yeah. So I would love to see that if you can go tear hell, and because you're putting yourself at risk with combat, it's so unoriginal to be like, oh, only buffs, no nerfs. I'm a modern video game person. I hate that prepackaged shit. But this seems like a case where I respect that. Again, I loved what they did with the Thargoid War, that they made it legitimately applicable for someone who just has a Type 9 to contribute. So I wish they really got to make combat feel like you're making moves in a system. So that's what I would change.
Yeah, I will tell you, as I was hunting archer ships in a distant system from my power, because that's the only thing I could do, and it's pretty slow going. Yeah. And like I'm a pretty effective combat pilot, right? And it was like this is nothing. Like if I was actually trying to compete if I was actually trying to compete with the opposing side for this system, I would not be able to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm just doing this for fun. Because it's like 3 orders of magnitude less effective.
Yeah. And currently I don't know if they've fixed the bug in the conflict power zones, but I have not even found any power conflict zones at all. I don't know if they're spawning anymore.
I saw a YouTube video where somebody was fighting in them and describing the way it works.
I have not had one work yet.
And here's another thing where you can't, in those apparently, because I haven't done one that worked either, you can fight in it, but you can't contribute to the war unless you're pledged to one of the two sides. So when one breaks out between Yong Rui and Archer in that system, I can be there, I can kill ships, but they won't count toward the conflict. Which I mean, I don't know, but can't I subtract from both sides or something? I don't know. I'm a little irked by the, it's like this sandbox kind of system that where the rules are supposed to be able to be affected by everything.
You're just so fiercely independent, Trax. You just gotta drink the Kool-Aid. You just gotta pick a color and drink the Kool-Aid.
Well, you're basically saying that I have to fly off to the red triangle space and I can't be in loose screw space anymore.
Antal literally has decals in stations that says "Independent for Life." That's Antal.
Interjection on the whole combat thing, because while you guys were talking, I was in a power signal in Yong Rui Screwspace fighting a couple Liaring Vipers that were here, and I destroyed them both, got murder charges for them both, and a total of 14 merits for my efforts.
Hey,
and you're pledged to
spend them all
Mahon
in one place.
or Antal?
I am pledged to Mahon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the merits depend on as far as I can tell, probably just the rank of the ship you kill.
They were dangerous and elite.
Oh yeah. So if you want to know what it's like to play for a combat ethos power, dangerous and elite, you should have been getting probably at least 80-ish per kill.
Don't you go recruiting for Delane.
I'm just saying, like the Spider King pays better merits for your high rank. 14, like I've never seen one that low. The low ones I see are like 20-ish, I think was when it was like a really low rank ship.
Yeah, and
The
it was
other-
a dangerous and elite Viper. I'm in my Python Mark II,
Yeah.
down to 45% hull because I'm just running a biweave, and high-end Vipers
Yeah.
are scary.
So the other merit trick with combat is that bounties, if you're in a system you're reinforcing or any of them, it's based on the payout, which means if you bring a kill warrant scanner, you greatly increase the merit payout per bounty.
I did not know
So
that.
get a fast scan kill warrant scanner. It's only 2 seconds per scan, and you really increase your merits. So
Well,
do that
so
if
that
you're merit bounty hunting.
that'd probably be a good idea for me if I was hunting archer ships too, because I can potentially find them with bounties from other systems before I open fire on them, and maybe I don't get a bounty from everyone.
Yeah.
Although I'm still gonna shoot the ship,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I care.
Well, I'm gonna if people still want to dip their toes, my conclusion I drew this week is, even though I'm Mahon, if you want to contribute in loose screw space, I would say go Yong Rui. You're going to have the most opportunity, the most variety of systems to work in. And tomorrow night, we are having our first group stronghold carrier assault.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun.
I swear, the combat you can do at the stronghold carriers is the most difficult PvE combat you can do in the game. You can get almost immediately fried if you get everyone's attention and fire on you. And I have never seen a counter assault. The stronghold carriers have guns that can be destroyed. They're the really heavy hitting ones, but you can destroy them. They have
So
constantly
the carrier
spawning.
has like emplacement style guns.
Yes, the carrier has
these-
guns that can be destroyed. There's a lot of ways you can mess with them. You can do hatchbreaker limpets to steal cargo. There's constantly spawning NPC ships and ship launched fighters, and it's chaotic, and it's probably the funnest, most challenging PvE combat I've done. And I think with a big group, it could be a heck of a lot funner. Region beams have an actual purpose in the game now, because you can need them to survive. So you can have one ship show up with like cannons ready to take out the guns that are fixed in place on the ships. You can have a region beam guy. It's like a raid in some other kind of online game. I've heard that term thrown around. I only play Elite, really. But you need a team to do it. And we're doing it tomorrow night. So look in the events and loose screws. And I want to get, if we can get 2 full wings of people, beautiful. But I really, it is really a lot of fun.
That's why I want to make sure my engineering on that prismatic was in order.
Yes. Yeah. I went in with just a friend, and the 2 of us, both with region beams to try to keep each other alive, couldn't keep each other alive. So it is a challenge, and it is fun, and I love that there's something like that now. I wouldn't do it alone. It's you're gonna get blown up or you're gonna run away. So it's not like what's that signal source of the pirate activity detected? Yeah, there's a bunch of high level engineered ships, but they tackle you one-on-one. Like a high conflict zone isn't really a challenge. It just takes a while. This is a different animal, so I'm really happy about it. So tomorrow night, check it out, because we're doing that, and it will be in the Discord doing that.
Sure.
Yep.
Count me for some SLFs.
Cool.
And the other ships.
Yeah. And that's
I don't know if
show up.
Yeah.
Park your carrier close by in case you need to respawn. But it's great. It's great fun. Yep. So that's my PowerPoint 2.0 PowerPoint presentation.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm invite anyone else that hasn't been talking to talk.
Yeah, I gotta shut up.
After the last show that I was on, I was like, oh man, I'm pumped. I'm into it. And then after those 5 tasks, I started trying to do stuff outside in like Screwspace and realized that like I can't really go anywhere I want in the galaxy, and it's really kind of restricting me, and I have to kind of be in that zone, and I can't. And then I'm complaining, but then I kind of figure out something else, and then I feel good about it, and then I do the stupid megaship mission thing, and it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
And then I was really down about it, and then I was like, oh, but maybe if I just, and then I started having fun, because I was like, well, if I'm just essentially, I need an assassination type build, because I'm just going to these signals in Archer space and having when archer ships pop up, or any ship, because sometimes like I've seen some of those convoys where there's just like some archer ships and some Mahon ships for no reason, just flying in formation together, like doo doo doo.
Oh, that is
And
a
I was
weird
like,
signal source.
I'm
isn't
like,
it?
so that's probably a bug, I guess. But
They're
then
just
so I
hanging
was like,
out.
whatever, just waste
Yeah.
them.
No,
So then
you just
it
saw
was
back
fine
C.
tuned.
They hadn't said action yet. That's what you saw.
Oh, got it. Well, I'll
And
come in,
action.
and sometimes one of the sets of ships will start shooting the other set of ships, but not all the time.
And then sometimes, like I saw in a Mahon signal source, the 3 anacondas just start beating each other up.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I was sort of fine tuning and playing with a couple of other gun loadouts and stuff like that to figure out like what is the fastest kill rate. And it's rapid fire pass fires.
Yep. Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah. Also, the numbers I thought were funny. Inara published the total numbers of all commanders in game who's pledged. I think it was only like 20% of players pledged overall.
Well,
But
you also
almost-
have to consider that over 80% of the accounts on Inara can be considered inactive accounts too.
Oh, well, okay. As far as Inara's numbers are concerned, I just thought it was funny that almost 5% of that was all Ashling Duvall. Like, you simps. Jesus Christ, it's a JPEG on a screen.
She's
She doesn't
still
really
she's
look
still
like
not
that.
number one.
She's not even real.
Mahon is
Real
number
enough.
one still.
You can run as many
as
merits
Mahon,
for her as you want.
Mahan's
She's
number
not gonna go
one
out
with the
you.
number of systems. If
Yeah.
Inara's numbers can be trusted as far as players pledging, Mahan was like 9th or 10th or something.
Okay, well, they're doing a
Well,
much
that's not
better
very
job, aren't
interesting.
they?
He's just some guy. He doesn't have blue hair.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's got the most systems. So what?
He
I mean,
does.
who cares how many pledges you have if you don't have the systems? Like,
Yeah.
sorry,
Well,
lady.
Dude, Federation is putting up a fight. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Friggin' Fednex.
Yeah.
Friggin' Fednax. There's a type
Mhm.
9 in my instance.
Like I'll clown
it
on
up.
Empire and especially Asling people all day long just because it's low hanging fruit. But when it comes down to it, F the Fednex.
Yeah. Yeah. What I thought was funny in the rollback of the merit points was that the Alliance didn't lose any because, as far as I can tell, the Alliance players didn't cheat. So
I noticed that too, and I
Just-
was just
I'm not making a statement of
Cackling.
judgment. I'm just citing the numbers. And the Alliance.
I'm
kept
making
all
a judgment.
the Alliance kept all their numbers. That's all I'm saying.
I'm making
Yeah.
a big judgment that most of the Federation people are children and suck.
Yeah. Given that, and the other funny thing is that given that the material benefits to you as a commander come just from your participation, what level you get, they don't come from the systems you claim, and it's not your cheating is literally only you being like, no, I need to like get my name on this thing. You earned your merits regardless. So you blew past whatever sense of progression you had. You didn't get any more material gain than you would have otherwise playing fairly, and then Frontier finds out about it and wastes all your effort. So it's literally like shooting yourself in both feet. Just let the system play out. You're going to get your rewards all the same. Even if you lose systems, you keep the merits and there's no decay. So let it be the system that lets it form the story of conflict in the bubble, and we'll all just be happy. So please.
Yeah.
But the number's not going up fast
But number
enough.
not go up. Shut the fuck. Oh god. So dumb.
Yeah. There are several things that I think they nailed about it.
Yeah. And
I'll say that.
I think it's unfortunate. Again, no live test server. They wouldn't have had enough participants anyway. So yeah, give it a month or two and just have fun in the meantime. And I think they rebalanced the Thargoid War a year late, but they did. So if you're gonna gripe and say, "Oh, they'll just drop it, and leave it like the first power play," no, for God's sake, you kidding? Like they're reinvesting in elite because they need to survive as a company. Look how some of the other games have done.
Yeah.
They're not gonna drop it and leave it. So enjoy yourself until it gets balanced. And I know no one is bitching about the Thargoid War. We know that was a success, and we know that that was really fun, and they will have learned some lessons from that. So have a little faith. All right, I gotta go polish my white armor.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be rebalancing some things too. I mean, like
Yeah.
just as Trax was saying about the mega ships, So like the first night that after last week's weekly reward tick, I was like kind of tired, and I tried to do the mega ship thing, and I'm like, I'm just tired. I can't find a mega ship. And then Saturday morning, I got up and I just kind of looked at the instructions. I said, you know what? I'm just going to fly from, each ONTAL system that we're in to each ONTAL system, and I just like flew from each one to one and looked for mega ships. And if there were mega ships, I'd scan them, and then I would get credit. So I was like, okay, that worked. And I did it again. And it was
And those are decent merits too. If you can find them, I was seeing something near 300 merits.
But I think it was about 300 merits a scan. But the thing was, I mean, I hit, I maybe flew, if I needed to get 9 mega ships, I think I flew to 9 systems. I mean, there were some that had 2, some that had 3, some that had none. I mean, I guess I might have gotten lucky, but I just was like, go to a system. Are there mega ships? Nope. Leaving. Moving to the next one. And I just went through the list because I have all of Screwspace bookmarked. So I went to everything that wasn't Yong Rui, that was another power, and just went boom, 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 and I was done. I mean, I spent like an hour, and I hit 9 mega ships, or I was maybe 2 hours. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to super cruise from here to there, and I don't have like the new SCOs in every single ship I fly yet. So I was just like, okay, if I'm going, 2,000, 3,000 light seconds, okay, maybe it'd take me a little bit longer than just, if I had a super cruise. But it was fine. It was Saturday morning. I had my coffee and all that. Gave me something to do, and it was a good time.
Hell yeah.
But it was kind of one of those things where it's like 9 was too many. I mean, like if it was like 5 or 6, for these weekly chores, I mean, like 5 would be fine because it's like, okay, I got to see some pretty mega ships. It was nice, but some nice scenery. But like by the 9th one, I'm like, I'm ready to move on to the next thing.
It's like scan 10 systems in Colonia.
Right.
There you go.
This week?
Mad Libs.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe they can tack on other different kinds of missions in the future and things like that. But no, I mean, I think some rebalancing, some maybe, I like combat, but we're kind of pinned in to the space that we're kind of pinned in. I mean, Trax feels like a square peg in a round hole being delayed in Screwspace. When it would be easier to be delayed somewhere else in the bubble. Or if somebody was just a
I'm sure they would call that a me problem too, but
I know,
yeah,
but if you're, if there's I mean, I just think there might be a way to be like, okay, well, I like combat, but I can't do combat. Like combat's not as useful for Yong Rui, but
here's the
we're in Yong Rui space, so it would be a little bit. There'd be a little bit if there was, all the different powers. You could use some of the similar tools instead of somebody being this focused versus that focused.
Yeah.
Because like geography plays a big role in this game too.
It does.
And there are a whole bunch of people that are like, I'm going to pledge a power, and I'm just going to. That's the power I like. I like it for role play reasons. I like it for whatever. Mm-hmm. But for me, I mean, like I'm so ingrained in BGS at that. My space is split over 5 different powers. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, I can do certain things in certain space and certain things not in certain space, and it's just kind of like, there's a part of me that would like to, if I just have like a little bit more of a diversified portfolio of what I can do where.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have the impression when they were sort of announcing this and talking about it on the live streams and stuff, and it was like all of your actions that you normally do are going to get tied into power play. So now the things you already do can affect power play. Things like scanning megaships, moving cargo, doing combat, and a couple. The screen hacking thing was the one new thing, but like pretty much everything else affects it. The part that I think kind of sucks is like the restrictions of this only works if you're fortifying a system, and this only works if you're undermining a system. Like, does the system need that restriction, or could it just be like whatever you do while you're pledged in the system you're doing it is going to have the effect? Like, it's not like if I go into a system, I have to do a certain action to like if I pick a system, well, this system is an acquisition system for my power. So I need to like tell tell the power play mechanic which one I want, which lever to pull? How come it can't just interpret all of my actions as merits that will go toward acquisition? And if I do them in a fortifying system, it'll interpret them as fortifying actions.
Same. I
Would
don't get that.
would
either.
that
Yeah.
really take anything away from it? Because that's what I felt like I was being described. And if that was the case, then I literally could be Archon Delane and I could go into Loose Screwspace and all of my actions, whether they be moving cargo or combat or scanning anything, they would all be serving to undermine, right? Because I'm outside of my space. What's the problem with that? Like, I don't understand why that's not what was implemented. And it would, it's a lot less complicated, but it's not less fulfilling. And it's easier to understand, and it is the same fun, right?
Yeah, and I
Or
think it would
more,
actually be
probably.
more fulfilling for someone like me who's kind of a little bit of a, Luddite when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, I just want, if I'm Yong Rui, I want, if I'm in not Yong Rui space, I want to undermine that space. And
Right.
if I'm in Yong Rui space, I want to make Yong Rui space more Yong Rui-ish.
And so why is it that only like 2 of the possible actions are usable in either of those situations? Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is I think that needs to be changed so that whatever the heck I do, and not necessarily be, okay, well, you're a combat ethos and I'm a corporate and I'm a trading ethos.
Yeah.
It's like if I get my jollies trading or I get my jollies with combat, I should be allowed to, for whatever power, do whatever. And I don't think that detracts from the game.
Yeah, being totally clear though, the ethos is just a tilt. It doesn't mean that those other actions don't work. It means that for me, I get paid more for combat than Nikado Kane, who is a different ethos. Like she gets paid. So pledge to her, and you'll get paid more for mining than I will, but you won't get paid nothing for combat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand that. So
So just a little little bonus.
Yeah,
It's not
I'm fine with bonuses.
obsolete if you don't have it.
It might influence which power you choose if you're not being influenced by the locality, the geography, as you put it. But yeah, all the actions should affect it. I mean, there's no reason if I bring I'm doing it, so it should be doing whatever my power wants to happen in whatever system. There's no reason to separate it. And they have the 3 versions of the power play commodities. And one is for fortifying, and one is for undermining, and one is for acquisition. Like, I guess if you want to keep that, that's fine. Keep those as 3 separate things that you have to keep track of if you want that complication. But that's the only place where it maybe makes some sense, I guess, because either way, you're just hauling small amounts of cargo. It's like a mini version of it's like smuggling. It's like more like smuggling and less like trading, right?
Yeah.
So
I think some of it has in-game lore connections, like with bounty hunting.
Yeah.
Unless you're in control, like if you're invading a country, you're not worried about legislating crimes. But if you're in control, you're very much in the interest of like how many criminals are operating. So I think some of it's not just purely gameplay.
Let me push back on that point.
Yeah.
So Archer controls V640 as a power, but I'm Loose Screws and I'm pledged to Archon Delane. So if I go in and start cleaning up the streets in V640, I am working for Loose Screws. Loose Screws is paying me as the controlling faction to clean up those bad criminals. And my power, as a pledge to my power, is my power shouldn't my power get credit for that?
Yes, it should.
So the people of Loose Screwspace, the people of V640, when they see me cleaning up those bounties, killing those criminals and turning in those bounty vouchers and getting paid as the vigilante justice that I am, I'm doing so with the Archon Delane badge on my shoulder. And so they should be influenced to start thinking maybe this Spider King guy is just all right with me, and a little less thinking that, you know what I mean? So I actually think that's not, anyway, I think you're wrong. I think there is lore reason. That's my lore reason for why it would make sense for all of my actions to benefit my power, regardless of system. Or not to benefit my power, but to do what my power would want to do. If I'm way outside of my space, like Archon can't suddenly fortify a system on the other side of the bubble, but if I'm way out there, I should still be undermining. I should still be making the people of that system feel a little less good about their power, because look at this guy.
Yeah, you're Batman.
Yeah, I'm fucking Batman. Batman the Spider King.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Your crown of bones.
Yeah, we all wear a crown of bones.
We all wear a
Yeah.
crown of bones. Most badass line in Elite history. Love that.
So anyway, that's my piece.
Hmm.
Well, it's a good piece.
Good piece.
And it wasn't as salty as you were leading us to believe that it would be if you were going to talk about it.
Oh, I was expecting Oscar the Grouch full on.
Yeah.
It is such a roller coaster. I honestly felt more negative at the start of this podcast. Maybe I'm influenced by this Mahon character. I don't know why. It's just, I'm said Audaxius was talking for a long time. And do you see how this works, man? You're out there representing your power, and
this is
I feel
influenced by
influenced by it. Yeah.
This is the square that I can't circle. If you're Mr. Loose Screws, why did you go Delane instead of Lee Yong Rui?
Oh, because I would never support a crybaby corporate gangster like Lee Yong Rui.
Yeah, but that's the tea you got served,
So-
buddy. That's Loose
so-
Screwspace is Lee Yong
And
Rui.
the problem is like he's the frat boy that was like one of my brothers in the bonds back in college. I
Well,
mean,
why
that's
don't
my thing. You know,
Well,
it's like
then,
of course I'm going to
alright.
gravitate towards him.
Then I'm gonna shill. Why don't you just clean house? We get rid of the frat boy and let's let Mahon move in. He's a nice, kind of neutral, easy fella. And then we can all be Mahon space. We don't have to deal with serious core if we don't want to. I'm just saying, man. Not that I'm an interested party. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I
Mahon's like a
it-
sitcom dad.
Yeah, essentially, I didn't want to pick any of them. Like, if I had my goal, my ideal would be that there would be this 13th invisible power, or 14th. How many are there? Anyway, there'd be this invisible power, which is I don't have a power, but all of my actions count toward undermining everyone in whatever system I'm in, right? But since I didn't get that wish, I'm just going to pick. It's like descending hierarchy of who I want to kick out of Loose Screwspace. Like Feds, number 1, Imperials, second place.
Now, would you be
Alliance,
willing to be
Alliance,
would you be
third
willing-
place, and then the Independents. And Archon Delane's just the most chaotic of the Independents. Maybe Grom, except that Grom is like a former Fed dictator guy, so I'm not involved. I'm not up for that.
Yeah.
So it's Archon.
Now,
Yeah,
would you be
well-
willing to be independent and being able to undermine and not get merits, or would you want merits for your time and trouble? Like how?
Well,
would,
what
like,
are
we
merits
talked
for
about
at that point, right?
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but like what?
Yeah.
Like I guess what I'm asking is the for some people the original power play was a means to an ends to get unlocking a bunch of goodies.
Yeah.
And they pledged every power for 5 minutes or for 3 weeks, and they got the goodies.
Yeah.
But like
No,
but like, would you be like, okay, well, I'm independent, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to get the goodies I would have gotten by being like with one of these, like, so no prismatics for me, and no,
Right.
cannons
So-
for me, and yeah, I mean, what
Set
what
us-
reward would you want in order to incentivize someone who's doesn't have your moral compass?
Yeah.
To say I'm going to
So-
be independent, because I would be with you. I'd be like, I would be one of these burn it to the ground kind of people. So I mean, I'm fine with that.
Here's what I think of that. And I'm going to try my best to set aside the fact that I already have all the power play stuff that I could want, except I do look forward to someday trying out the Concord cannon because it's new, but I have the rest of them. But assuming I didn't, yes, I'm sure I would feel left out of having those. So like, what would I want? I don't think this is going to happen, so that makes it a little easier to say. I am sure you're right. I would feel left out of getting those bonuses, and it wouldn't really be fair for me to get them. So, but I would be really interested to see. Yes, I agree. It wouldn't be fair for me to earn them, or to earn the other sort of bonuses like getting bounties paid off and no rebuys and stuff like that. I would be interested to see what the population looked like if it came into the game like that. If it was like, look, 13 powers, or choose independent, and you get to play the game where you could be attacked by things in instances because all the powers are going to be enemy to you, basically, as they would be if you chose a power. I would be interested to see how many people want to sign up for that. I want to do the extra friction version of the game without any benefits because I don't like any of the powers enough to roleplay for them. Would it be 20% of players? Would it be more? I kind of think it wouldn't be nothing.
Oh, it'd be more than
because
nothing.
I think a lot of people actually don't love their power. I'm sure there are some who are like, oh yeah, absolutely. But, the way the power characters are designed, they're all flawed.
Maybe that's what we get
as
when
good characters are.
Maybe that's what we get when Salvation comes back and becomes the 13th power.
But that's not independent. That's not.
What about
that's not.
What about the Pilot Federation? I mean, what
the
if it was
Pilot
like
Federation? Oh,
we
that
just
being the other one? Yeah.
Yeah, just be like, okay, well, as the Pilot Federation, we're the freaking glue of the bubble, and we're the freaking glue of the galaxy, and you all have your crown of bones because we're the goddamn tendons.
Okay, so how about this? It's the Pilots Federation. They are the invisible extra power. And you're not supporting any of these figureheads. You can make systems. Your actions can make systems become independent and drive powers out. And your reward structure would be lessened somehow, right? Like instead of having like 100% rebuy, it's like 80% rebuy or something. You know what I mean? Just walk those percentages back, and you can get the power play modules, but maybe it takes a couple more levels or something for each one. Offset it by 2 or 4 levels.
Yeah, or maybe just give some mats and things. I mean,
well, mats. You get mats already.
Yeah,
you get these care packages periodically. So
tons of bio waste.
There we go.
You can go sell them for profit.
Well, apparently bio waste is useful for undermining because selling really low value goods.
That's what I think of your independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is, back to the lore thing, like, because now I'm just reminded because people are talking about selling bio waste, like selling really low value goods into a system market is an undermining action. So what you're saying is when I pledge to Archon Delane and get a truckload of bio waste and drop it in this system, all the Jerome Archer supporters look at my pile of shit that I just delivered and go, I don't know about this Archer guy. This Delane is starting to look okay. Is that really the lore that I'm supposed to believe makes sense?
What it's doing is destabilizing the economy. And as we all might know from a recent election in a well-known country, that discontent with the economy can really motivate people's opinion to want something different. Yeah. That's the whole offloading cheap goods. They need to give you more merits for it so that cargo people can do something besides hauling across the bubble and doing these like leasty, Aaron and whiskey, whatever runs. But I get why. It's generating discontent. So it's not just about the
the way I like the person generating discontent though is not the current leader. So like why?
Well, but that's where the whole
so it's just disinformation.
Different actions. It's like one thing you're doing is destabilizing the economy, creating generic discontent. The other thing you're doing is like all that stuff you deliver is you're having it's
it's a little bit wiggly. That's okay.
Well, the thing is that the power can't do anything about it. Like the power's not doing their job by preventing you from dumping a whole bunch of bio waste in the market. Yeah,
but they could if they made it open only. They could blow you up on the way there with the poop.
Yep.
Ugh, yuck.
Imagine.
Ugh. Popping a Type 9 full of shit. Ugh.
752 tons.
Yeah. God in heaven. Ugh, it's not even worth the merits. Ugh, gotta go wash my hands.
Gotta go wash my multi-cannons.
Wash my God, I'll never get it out. They keep misfiring.
Oh,
Oh,
and my
God.
multi-cannons were really hot when the ship exploded too,
Oh,
so it's like the
the
smell is just really
smell.
in there.
Wow.
Amazing.
We went poop
Amazing.
jokes.
Are
We
we
went too far.
is there anything else we should
Nope.
do here? There's still a
I-
Thargoid war, blah blah blah. There's actually still one invasion that isn't complete as of right now when I record this. So it'll probably have some % left on it by the time I
It's-
upload it.
You know that meme that the sour guy at the party, and he says they don't know that meme now is just AXI, and everyone dancing at the party is power play people, and he's like, they don't know I'm still defending humanity.
Hey,
It's like-
I did some defending of humanity last week too.
We've done 7 Titans, man. Like, come on.
I took
strap it
a
up.
little break. I took a little break and defended humanity to the tune of a couple 100 million credits worth of
Okay.
Thargoids. So
There
the
you go.
Mandalay, it's very fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Blah blah blah. Community corner. Buckyball race. What is
Yep.
going on? 888. Somebody read this.
Yeah, I'll read it. So the 8th race of the 888 this year is being run by Polar Brewski. He's going to be doing a reimagining of one of the original Buckyball races. The theme, I guess, this year has been basically nostalgia and whatnot. So that should be a good one. We'll see what it is. And a friend of the Screws, until Daxi crosses a line, Alec Turner posted a... Yeah. Are you going to cross the line for us, Daxi?
No, I'll be good.
Okay. Posted a video farewell to the last Thargoid Spire. I laughed. I cried. It was better than cats. The Spire will be gone by the time you hear this, but the video lives on.
Dang,
Immortalized.
that's a cool
Immortalized.
spot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Galnet Digest brought up a community manager's recent ask in the hellscape known as the forums regarding ship and
God.
module transfer times.
Oh,
So basically,
Why?
so basically, if you have pre-built ships, you can sell your pre-built ship and redeploy it wherever you move to instantly. So you could be, in your bubble jumper and hop across the bubble very quickly, and then, redeploy a pre-built ship, and it's ready to go. And you
Pointlessly
don't have-
because it doesn't have all of your engineering on it. Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, but like I said, if you have a pre-engineered one of those, I mean, not that they're
Sure.
Sure. For sake of argument, there's a bunch of ships you
Yeah.
can redeploy fast. So I think they're
Yeah.
saying, does the 30 minutes it takes to move something across the bubble, or how long does it take to move a ship to Calarum? Not Calarum, to Colonia.
I think across the whole Colonia is like,
Like
3
from
days.
yeah,
like
like
3
3
days.
days. I mean,
It's
I don't
almost
wanna-
70 hours or something.
and it's like a
Yeah.
bazillion credits to move your Anaconda from.
Prohibitively
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, and so I think they're thinking of rebalancing that in the.
Okay. So run it down the line. I have replied to this, by the way.
Yeah, I have not. I've
Um,
not replied to it yet, but yeah, I
The
think it's a
open
good idea.
letter.
I think that being able to redeploy your ship because you paid ARCs for it is a perfectly okay perk to leave limited to pre-built ships. However, if you're going to touch this system and make instant transfers of modules and ships a thing, that feature on its own is bizarrely pointless. And the real move is obviously to just make ships into like a loadout system the way our suits are, which should have been done day fucking 1 of Odyssey. So that's my reply without the curse words, of course. But
Yeah.
Don't make me laugh and touch this system unless you are turning it into a loadout system where I just have all of my modules and all of my ship hulls available, and I can pre-design loadouts and just choose which one I want to launch, or leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah. I mean, it was something
my
I really
point.
didn't. That's a good point. I mean, I wasn't really thinking much about it until the carrier times have blown up with everyone coming back to the game and whatever other reasons why
Yeah.
the carrier times are ridiculously long. Because, I mean, I just want to do, like I said, I wanted to do some ship engineering this week. And I'm like, well, I'm probably just going to fly them around from point A to point B to point C, one at a time, because I don't have the wherewithal to just, pre-move a ship every so often, and
Right.
like I'm going to do something else for an hour. I mean, I have plenty of work to do. I could find work to do for an hour, but it's just
Try
we
that
get
in the
tedious.
Mandalay, though. You'll never want to fly your fleet carrier again.
Yeah,
It's glorious.
yeah.
I flew all over the bubble doing all kinds of experimentals on 2
Yeah.
Mandalays because it was so great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you
I don't think
what
it's
would you say?
So
To-
I mean, I'm
To ship
yeah.
transfers?
like I said, I mean, I really don't care that much. I mean, honestly, if they make it like a little bit shorter and a little bit cheaper, or you know, I mean, it's just like the Colonia thing's a little bit ridiculous. So, because I would love to go to Colonia without having to do my fleet carrier, just go in the Mandalay or something and do that, and then have my ships there so I can hang out there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. More of a
Something
game.
like that, where it's not like, okay, I'm going on vacation, so I'll just ship all my ships to Colonia while I'm on vacation, and then by the time I get back, they're all there, and then I run out of all my credits because I used all my credits spending them to transport them. So I don't know. I don't have a good straight answer. I'm kind of indifferent.
Yeah, the only thing I've always appreciated the transfer time because it helps give the sense of scale. And it's not the feedback they're looking for, but the only thing I would change is letting us ship things in advance. Ship some
That would
modules
help.
from where you're at to somewhere else in the anticipation of getting it later. That's the only thing I would change.
All right, Chig, you get the last word.
What you guys said.
I think
honestly,
he's ready for this episode to be over.
I saw this question go out, and it's the loadout thing you were talking about, makes perfect sense.
That was your idea. Like, as soon as Odyssey happened, Chig was like, how come this
100%.
isn't on for our ships? Like, what the hell?
100%. And that's always bothered me because, I mean, building ships is just, it's one of my favorite things to do in the game, but the tediousness of shifting modules from ship to ship and owning all these idiot ships, that are named spare parts just so that I've got enough space to store my ships, and
yeah.
I don't know.
And you have to like
ships,
give the ship a name that's like a code that you understand for which modules are on it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we just use Inara, but anyway.
I have a Type 7 called cargo hull heat sinks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the idea of scale, these things taking a while to transfer, they could reduce these transfer times, especially with fleet carriers being in the game. There, you can headcanon that these fleet carriers are constantly moving stuff around for people, so things get places. But there's no reason you can't have access to your modules everywhere. I mean, I could see ships taking a little while to transfer, but if you're in a location, having access to your modules should be instantaneous, because there's no reason that these different starports couldn't, we've got one of those here, and when yours gets here, we'll replace it with this, kind of an in-stock transfer thing, and maybe cost some money to do it, but having access to your modules everywhere would be amazing. And that goes back to the loadout thing, which honestly, it's mind-boggling that we don't have that in game. The shipbuilding system is so stupid right now.
It has to be that it's like a realism. It's like hanging on to an old-fashioned realism thing, but like, does this subtract any fun from the game is kind of, I think, the question. If it does, what are you having loadouts, having a loadout system just like suits? Because my suits and all my suits and guns are always with me.
Yep, always.
No matter what.
Yep, you're on a shuttle to locate to a combat zone, and
if I dismiss my ship and step out of my SRV and it gets blown up, I still have all my suits and guns. So it's over. Like, the clinging to realism has left a long time ago. Does it actually subtract any fun to not just have a simple loadout system and be like, yeah, it's a space sim, wink, wink. You know what? My Mandalay has a top speed of, 576 here on this planet. Instead of, infinity until my fuel runs out, which is what a real space sim would be, right? So we've all accepted this from the very, very beginning of Elite, that there are rules to make it a fun game, and this could be one of them.
Amen.
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 Now I can't remember if there was anything else below that.
There's a couple of things below that.
You have my video in here?
I have your video in there.
Some jerk called JN Tracks posted a Mandalay AX anti-Xeno video. Yeah, I did a little conflict zoning and then I cut the video down to just the kills and put some fucking cool music on it. So there.
And there was special guest star Borked there too.
Yeah, Borked was around that night, so we hammered those clowns together. Just a lot of Cyclopses. What are you gonna do? Actually, I think one of them was a Basilisk. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I just killed so many, I don't even remember.
Well, for you two, a Basilisk and a Cyclops is basically the same thing, isn't
Basically
it?
the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was rough for them.
Yeah, and then Project 676, also from the Morphous Mining Corporation. He posted a good video on the YouTube as well. So
splendid.
A few things going on. I mean, it's been a slow news week. What can I say?
Yeah, we still managed to run for, what have we been talking for 2 hours?
Almost.
Yeah. Almost. All right, everybody. Well, that was fun. Yeah, better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to whine the whole time.
No, you only whined about half the time.
Yeah, it was good.
Perfect.
Good ratio.
That's the perfect amount of whining. All right. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank
night,
you, Adaxius,
everyone.
Blooming Wind, Chig, and Lark, who had to leave early.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lark. And thank you all. We'll see you next time.
See you guys around. Bye.
Good night. Bye.